We are continuing to follow some breaking news this afternoon. There was a second cyber attack that was hit the cloud-based internet company Dyn, which has impacted several major websites. It includes Amazon and even Gmail. Twitter also says that its users may be having trouble accessing its site as well. Both of them were hit by this attack. And with us now on the phone is Zach Whitaker, a security reporter for ZDNet. Zach, give us a quick breakdown of exactly what's happened and what you know.
Well, good afternoon. Good to be with you. To be frank, the internet kind of broke this morning. At least a middle portion of the internet broke. So here's how it works. Imagine a phone book. You know the name of the person, but you don't know the number. Well, the internet DNS system, which was targeted by the cyber attack, kind of works like that. In this case, there were so many people flicking through the phone book at the same time, it essentially overloads and nobody could get what they needed. The end result was that a whole lot of websites simply appeared offline. Now, it appears that this cyber attack, may or may not have been, sparked by some sort of state-sponsored actor, but at this point, it's just too early to tell.
I want to point out what you're seeing on your screen right now. We've got a map of the United States. You're seeing the different colors there of the areas that were impacted, and my understanding is the red are the zones that were heavily impacted. You're seeing largely up in the northeast quarter of the U.S., looking at the Seattle, up in the upper left screen there, Seattle and California. Why these particular areas, Zach?
Well, the way that DNS works is that you have different major epicenters of the internet, and you have the East Coast, the West Coast, Europe, Africa, Australia, and all these different epicenters of the internet. And when, the whole point of the DNS is that it's a distributed network. So if one part of the internet goes down, then the traffic that you try and access a website goes through a different portion of the system. Essentially, it means that the internet can never really go down across the world, but sometimes, like we've seen today, portions and regions of the world can be, can appear offline.
For cybersecurity folks, was this something that they had been concerned about in the past few months?
This is something that people have been very concerned about. Now, the thing is that from a cybersecurity perspective, this has been something that's been on the radar for quite some time. These kind of distributed denial of service attacks, these flooding attacks, they've been happening for years. They've been getting worse and worse in severity. And in the last few weeks or so, they've been increasing in scale and severity, especially. Some of the largest flooding attacks last year were maybe half the size of what they are today. And this kind of attack must be off the charts, given that Dyn, a major pillar of the internet and crucial to internet infrastructure, was essentially knocked offline.
This was a major disruption, Zach, but what else are they concerned about? What could be worse than what happened today?
Well, frankly, a lot worse can happen, but this just does kind of highlight the sort of cybersecurity issues that we face today. One of the conclusions that some people are drawing at this point is that it may well be a state-sponsored attack. I must say that right now there's no evidence yet to suggest that this is state-sponsored. Large cyber attacks like this don't always mean it's state-sponsored, and it's easy to jump to that conclusion. What may have happened in this case is that malware known as a botnet, in simple terms, is malware that can hijack computers and devices to force an army of internet-connected devices to direct these connections against a target. In this case, it appears to be Dyn. And these sort of internet-connected devices, light bulbs and routers that power your home internet connections are so vulnerable to hackers, they can be easily hijacked because these companies often don't put security first. And these devices are being targeted by this malware, which can be used, can result in millions of devices all trying to flood a website or service with a request at the same time.
Zach Whitaker of ZDNet, thank you for joining us, Zach.